gentlemen, we came here to make you move.
So back in the building, guys. Great to see you. Glad to see you guys going steady, staying dedicated to the cause.
Hell yeah, man. What's up, dude? You looking strong, dude. You hitting those weights? You on the natch or you on that special sauce?
Oh, special sauce, dude. Come on.
Hell man. Yeah. All right.
Hell yeah.
Test. You know how it is.
That's what I'm talking about. Are you taking any what's the other things? I just got off them.
Peptides.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. What are you doing, like the IGF?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
I got freaked out though because I did a couple of cycles of the peptide or whatever before I really started looking into it. And a lot of the stuff I'm reading, it's like the risk that you assume is that's the kind of thing that, especially the ones that stimulate human growth hormone. Well, that stimulates the growth of all kinds of stuff. Like
it does.
It could potentially stimulate the growth of like a cancer. But then I also kind of don't really believe in it. So, but I'm like, I'll just stay on the test. And
dude, as long as you don't like slam the growth stuff and do it like super aggressive and you just like cruise on tests, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I saw something about microdosing tests. I'm trying to get the lady pregnant.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay. I'm trying to bring in the next generation that's going to survive the fucking collapse.
Seriously, dude. Like, listen, you know what's funny, dude? Before I get on with you guys, I always kind of like check out our old episodes.
Yep.
Yo, we call this shit we always do. Accurately, dude.
We can call everything else. I talk too much shit, but like, yeah. I mean.
Well, like you were saying earlier before we just started, man, like that's why a lot of a certain audience doesn't really dig our shit, man, is because we're right about something that's pretty fucking dark, dude. And
and it's hard to hear, Cody. This stuff isn't fun to talk about, like even when we're talking about it, I get stressed.
Yeah.
It's stressful talking about this shit,
And I forget that sometimes because we've been like sitting with this for so long, it doesn't really stress me out that much anymore. But like, that it's just such a stupid cliche that the truth hurts, but it is the truth. That is true. And like, I remind myself, because like kind of lately I've had to face some like truths about myself personally that I didn't like. And it's like, that's painful, and I'm like, people are experiencing a version of that with all this shit that's going on with our country, because you identify in some respects with your country. That's part of your identity, is like, I'm a countryman of X place. And so when that part of your identity, when you have to face what's real about that,
process.
I get why people don't dig it,
It's still annoying at the same time.
But you have to, you guess what? We're adults. You have to, you can't fix or improve anything, or you can't deal with anything appropriately if you're not honest about what it is.
Absolutely. And it's not easy, man. A lot of these people, they're just not at that point in their journey yet. You know what I mean? But what I mean, let's try to look at this through a telescope, or look at this. What stage are we at right now, gentlemen? We're like we're so far removed from normalcy, if you will. I think the official MAGA crowd is now kind of separating from Trump, or they're confused.
Before we get into the granular detail, I look at, like, when you said where are we at, I'd say the meta reality is that we are, and this is obvious, like, and I think most people like would even agree with this, even normies, like we are in the post-truth era, like we're in the part of this thing where you and I and he may be able to come to some agreement about what's going on, maybe, but honestly, not really. Like,
even then, it's still,
we won't completely agree, so we're all looking at the same stuff and we won't even agree, but we can agree enough that we could cooperate with one another and have like a basic, but like everybody else, it's so it's so hard to have any kind of shared reality at this point. So that, to me, that's what's going on in general, is that we are now kind of in this reality where, dude, it's so there is an objective truth, that there is. except we don't have access to it. So it's like we're all just kind of sharing this subjective experience and trying to convince everybody else that our experience is the real one, you know?
When we don't even really know what to call it. I hear you. Well said. What do you think, Cody?
What is what is that? I don't know if it's scans. Excuse me, you're kicking some sort of virus like everybody.
Dude, everyone has AIDS right now.
Yeah. So what is that term? It's like neti.
Yeah, not this, not that. It's like
Vedic, Sanskrit,
coming to an understanding by like eliminating everything, right?
Deductive or reduction reasoning.
Yeah. Neti. Yeah.
That's the way that I look at the world, man. Because in the post-truth area, essentially, like we're in 5th generation warfare, which is a psychological operation from the fucking oligarchs to the people at large, right? So it is the crafting of narrative. So, you know, you'll call something, but it's actually not that, right? So like the medical industrial complex does nothing to help you whatsoever. So it's, you know, I try to get down to what is actually happening by looking at something and be like, okay, that is not actually what it is. And once you're to that point, then you just keep doing it until you get to what you've got rid of everything that it could be. Like, okay, it's got a duck bill, but it's a mammal. You know, sooner or later you're going to get to the fact that it's a platypus, right? And the unfortunate platypus that we have is that we are subject to a crypto oligarchy, man. And it's not even that crypto anymore. It's not even. And by crypto, I mean occulted. It's not the crypto bros, you know. I think that's a tool of their nonsense. But and I think we're in the late stages of every 100 years or so, give or take, if you look back through history, you know, the predator class, the controlling class, call them what you want, man. They just redraw the map.
Yeah.
You know,
they redraw the map and they rebuild the machine we're all traveling in. So it's like we're in a freight train that they're constantly rebuilding as we drive it. So they have to be inventive and creative and, you know, clever in stuff like their economic engine. You know, the way that they did business 20 years ago isn't sufficient, you know,
doesn't jive.
So they have to create new financial mechanisms. They have to find new, you know, resources to take. And so I think, as much as I do hate these guys and do think that they are evil and oppressive and, you know, engaging in like global, you know, mind control and slavery at a massive level, all that stuff's true. But also they you know, they are kind of keeping this system is objectively like evil and bad, but like we're all eating off it still, you know? And so like they keep this thing going. And like for all the shit, like Cody's, you know, 99% more prepared than most people, but even he doesn't want the fucking freight trains to stop running.
I got a couple more things I'm working on before it goes off the rail.
And most people, even the most prepared people, are, you know, it's very difficult.
Still dependent on something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying like, oh, you know, I respect these guys for the job they're doing. I'm just real weary of wishing them to like fail, you know?
Well, I think Americans are bad at having respect for the enemies. You know, we always come up with terms like
that's so important.
Yeah, the Gooks, the Jerrys, the Japs, the Hajis, you know. And when you lose respect for your enemy, you make mistakes, man.
Oh, yes.
These people, this thing that they've pulled off throughout the centuries, throughout the millennia, takes such disciplined cohesion.
Yes.
That it is beyond the realm of most people understand. Dude. Most people can't understand making it 3 weeks from now, making it 4 weeks from now. Like, how could they even think it was real that somebody would be working on a plan that might take 200 years?
Yeah.
I found out about this study. It was a happiness study where they took it started like in the 1930s, maybe. And they took children from across a wide, selection of different different kids, right? And then
in America.
And so some were rich, some were poor, some were from broken homes, some were from good homes, whatever. And what they did is they followed those people for 80 years. Bro.
Damn.
It's like a Stanford study or something like that. I'm past the point where I try to convince people what the absolute fact of what things are. Like, I'm finding out for your fucking self. But
make your own opinion.
Yeah, I don't care. It's like
you got the internet.
Yeah, I found it. Now you go find it, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
But so most people, and so as the answer was that even from the rich ones to the poor ones at the end of their lives, the answer was happiness wasn't from money. Happiness wasn't from any of this exterior nonsense. It was you had friends, you had family that loved you. And that was really like the touchy feely feel good part of the story. But a psycho like me is sitting on the couch going like, wait a minute, bro, they studied these people for 80 years. Dude, they passed that along, bro. Like somewhere there had to be a change of command. We're like, hey, bro, I've been tracking these people for 25 years.
Yeah.
You're up, player.
Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
To you. You're up, player. 25.
Like, hey, this 80-year program, that's what pays for the lights in the building. So you got to go meet these people.
You got no choice.
Somebody paid for that. Like, thank you. Somebody paid for that study, man.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, I'll pony up 80.
Funded it, and it probably has to come up and get refunded because nothing goes for 80 years off the same line of accounting, That's
well, think about what that study also tells you. It tells you people's motivations. It tells you how they deal with the results of their, dude, it's a data mine.
Yeah. And data is such an interesting thing because like, it's funny. We do a lot of data science stuff at work and I'm like learning a bit about how that works, but like, it's so weird. Like even in your best attempts to be objective about anything, you influence almost anything with the way that you collect data, the way you go about it, the way you structure a study, the way you build the parameters in it. Even it indicates some bias in you in the way that you set stuff up. And it's very hard to get, even well-intentioned people, it's very hard to get around that. So, and then there's the really shitty stuff. The thing about data is you get data and then that's just one part of it. Now it's you've got your little grubby little hands on this data. Now, how do you package it and present it to people to influence their decision-making, which is like
how to lie with
statistics. That's what everyone lie with statistics, man.
Yeah.
And
perfectly.
Like, even like well-intentioned, like I'm just thinking about it in the context of my work. It's like we are collecting a bunch of data on manufacturing, like the performance of certain machines, or how efficient this is, or constraints in this part of the supply system or whatever. And all we're really trying to do is like come up with some recommendations on how to be more efficient or save money or whatever. But what we're also really trying to do is come up with it in a way that makes them want to buy it from us instead of other consultants. So there's like no getting around
capitalism.
Any of it, because the motivation isn't really to build more submarines. It's to get contracts to get paid to keep the company going. Like it's just such a weird.
I feel like ultimately that's where the failure is going to meet our humankind to a certain degree. We're not thinking about what we should in a way. Obviously, we're thinking about the bottom dollar, and
that's a good point. And like that's exactly it. Like we're always focused on technology and resources and everything but like the human condition itself. Like how are we, what's the health of our culture, like morally? We can't even agree that that's something we should even focus on. So there's a certain sect of people where if you even bring that kind of thing up, it's like, how dare you? Obviously my perspective as like a privileged white guy, I can't have any opinions about how people ought to behave or not
at all.
We're so far from being, we tried that. We tried to use Christian ethics and, it took a couple of days, like the 50s, like
not even
surface seemed like things were kind of cool, but in very short order, it gets completely corrupted, co-opted, manipulated. And now, we don't even pretend to have that anymore. So it's like, what is
it's getting real scary because I think we're seeing this real time. It's happening now, and we don't even realize what's happening now. Truly, the impact of all these things that's really affecting the psyche of human beings.
Well, dude, look at. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. But I was a button.
What I'm worried about is my true north is always trying to identify the issue so I can try to theoretically come up with something to solve it. And I can't even find my true north anymore. I can't even find the fire that's burning in this area to put out. It's either getting too big or there's multiple ones. It's very, very hard to keep up.
I'm glad you said that. It's actually very important for people to do this time now, which is find your true north. And from my perspective, what that is somewhere deep down inside yourself, you know, sit in the dark and find it. You need to come up with a list of things that you will not do, that you will never do, under the pain of death, under any for any reason whatsoever. You don't have to tell anybody, you know, but you know, I think I said this on our show. Is in the Trump administration, this time frame that we're in is, you know, the MAGA crowd, which is, because let's face it, the lefties are just fucking gone, right? They're just
gone,
right? You know, that goes back to the people screaming, like, demanding for abortions and shit.
Yeah.
So the remaining, so now so they already got those guys. The COVID years got the entire left. Got a bunch of them too.
They were cutting
fried
their dicks and tits off.
Yeah, you know, you basically got people outside just screaming to worship Moloch outside of
this guy,
outside of fucking abortion clinics.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Literally.
So now what you got is the red hot crowd who appears to be the good guys. They appear to be the sensible ones in the area, right? Well, people have to understand that the people that run this world are dark psychologists.
Yeah,
and they are sadists. You know, so now what you need to do, I think we
say that, and we don't even really know what that means. Like that's a very broad term. When we're talking sadist, I mean, something that I just came over because I studied the Epstein thing very, very heavily. Like, what was he doing to me? And I was like, is it really just at the end of the day, kids and minor women? Is that what everyone's after? And I started to see that they were after something else, and it was like he was trying to create his own cloning.
He was trying to.
That was the New Mexico ranch.
Who was this Canada guy that was doing that?
Looks like Ric Flair.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah, yep.
They're both into that. Like, let's inseminate as many of these broads as possible.
Yep.
Anything you've seen in any kind of movie already exists, dude. Like,
yes. So is that the goal, though? What would be what's the purpose of that goal? To create your own race? I mean,
these people are insane narcissists, you know, like, and they believe they're like a guy like Epstein totally spun out on all this transhumanist shit. Totally, like, you know, probably because they're occultists, have some you know, belief that there is some plane of existence after this material one, and if hell's real, they're almost certainly going there, you know. So they're going to try to stave off the inevitable death. We talked about it a bunch of times, but I think Epstein, I think it's part of it is that he was involved in a sexual blackmail, you know, enterprise for various intelligence, probably not just for Mossad and CIA. It might have been for anybody that could pay for it, or I don't know exactly, but there was definitely that intel collect and blackmail aspect was part of it. And like, dude, this, like, you know, Epstein, like, his target group was kind of like, it wasn't like little baby kids, it was like teenagers, you know, and like, dude, this is a level of like male creepiness that only in like recent history is this like something that's out of the norm.
Well, hold on.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
out of the norm. You're right.
Yeah. Like, dude, rewind the tape 100 years and people would be like, what's the problem here?
Yeah.
You know,
what
are we talking about, guys? You know, like,
what's the easiest way to share a video on Zoom?
That's not happening.
Not happening?
I don't think so.
All right, never mind.
Why? What is it?
I was going to send you something from the 1933 World's Fair about it's like a celebration of Moloch. Like, look, man, you know, and this is one of those conversations that people don't like having, man, is that I think that the controllers of this place worship the old gods, man. I always used to wonder this as a kid. Like, so all these old gods just went away. People were just like, we worship these gods for thousands of years. And then all of a sudden, like, nope, we got Jesus, Muhammad. And
by threat of the sword, pagans were turned to Christianity. It wasn't just like, hey guys, this is a new thing. It was like, we're gonna cut your fucking head off. Like, this is what's happening, guys. You're a heretic. You're gonna burn. Okay, we're good. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, probably started around like Constantine, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's nothing saying that the people that run this place, bro, they're clearly not Christians.
No, they're not Christian.
What we've seen, guys, clearly they are worshiping some kind of old gods.
Yeah. And it's like he said, it's Moloch.
If these are the most, but think about this though. These are the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, money and power has to get you some kind of knowledge that's solid.
It
And
gets you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
to me, that's my thinking at least, and that's what I've strived on. And I think there's something behind that. I mean, if you're the most powerful person in the world and you have all the or to me, that either means because to me, when you have all the money in the world, you can theoretically do whatever you want. Does this just mean at the end of the day that humankind is evil? Because
Dude, I get what you're saying, and I think that there's, we're talking about a couple of different things here. Like, hey,
yeah, true.
so if I'm getting your question properly, like, maybe, hey, these guys are like dark occultists. They're involved in what's basically like a kind of like witchcraft, And hey, look, it seems to work for them. Is it the case that these guys are tapping into some sort of metaphysical power in all of their rituals and stuff? To that, I say it may very well be the case. Like, there probably is some sort of supernatural kind of thing that we don't fully understand that they know more about because they are practitioners of this very carefully occulted dark art. There's that. And then I separate that from another, like, kind of easier to understand, like, not supernatural truth. And that is that if you have a completely inverted moral system that's basically 180 from the way everyone else operates, that in and of itself gives you a lot of power because you're now willing to do things that other people won't do and that are limited by, like, if you're willing to kill and there's no, kill, lie, cheat, commit any crime, like if you're not constrained by any kind of limits in that way,
Moral
just
compass
imagine.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And if you were already powerful enough to have like the legal systems and the policing systems and the military, if you have some manner of control over those things so that you can hide your activities and escape justice, like even like Epstein, he got that sweetheart deal the first time they caught him, basically got his hand spanked or whatever. Then look how powerful that makes you,
Yeah, it's true. I think that's what a lot of people don't want to understand or believe, that people that powerful can be that corrupted by evil. You know what I mean?
Well, and I was one of these people until kind of recently. Like, I could use the term evil like colloquially, like, oh, that's an evil motherfucker, but I didn't mean it. I didn't really mean it. I didn't really think that there was such a thing as metaphysical evil. I do now. I didn't think that demons were real. I didn't think any of that shit was real. So I would use those terms, like I said, colloquially, but I didn't mean it. And I think that that's where a lot of people are, even practicing Christians. You can't convince them, or they don't want to accept, like, hey man, like, dude, you can open up portals to other dimensions and in through them come demons that infest people and control their behavior and and people, that's further than most people are willing to go, I think.
Like I've always been pretty much an atheist, and it's coming around to where I'm like actually becoming kind of religious now, seeing just what it's crazy, dude. Like, I mean,
Well, and obviously this, but like there is somewhere between atheism and now I'm religious, so like from my perspective, atheism does not withstand much scrutiny. You know what I mean?
So,
like it falls apart like pretty.
I was a pretty staunch atheist my entire adult life. I mean, I got a pentagram tattooed on my back, and my dog tags read atheist the entire time. Like dudes on the team used to fuck with me about it and shit. Yeah. And it wasn't until I really started understanding some of the metaphysical or like other concepts. You don't find the information until you go look for it.
Right.
Like see, like look in the how the fuck
seek and you shall find.
Yeah, knock on the door.
Well, what does being an atheist truly mean at its core? You believe in nothing but what?
Well, it can lean, like Aaron was saying, it can kind of lean in a couple different ways. You can be the scientismo guy, which thinks that there was a Big Bang allegedly billions and billions of years ago, and we're the exact accident of particles beating into each other.
Well, but atheism, like they try to, depending on which one you're talking to, they'll kind of backpedal a little bit and fall back into like agnosticism, which is different. So atheism is you're making a positive claim that you believe that there is no such God. There's no, single source for any of this. There's no divine creator. There's none of that. Okay. Agnostic is like, I haven't seen evidence for it. It's a little softer of a position. It's like, okay, I don't see evidence for it. I'm not willing to say that there is a God, but atheism is a very strict position. It's supposed to be, should be.
So as I started looking into it, and one of the things that I started looking into it in my atheism, is I read Buddhist books, I read Hindu books, I read Luciferian books, I read the Devil's Bible, Anton LaVey's shit. I read the Devil's Notebook. I read literature that romanticized the devil. And that is, I think, what we're dealing with at the upper levels is these people that have come to the understanding that this place that we're in is some type of prison, right? And, you die, you go through pain, you go through all this thing, right? And they're essentially, and I'm dumbing this down a lot, and I guess boiling it down to its lowest common denominator, is they're rebelling, they're wrestling with God. Yeah. They're rebelling against the fact that there are laws here, right? Like you jump off a cliff, you're going to fall and die. What goes up must come down. Like there are physical and probably certainly metaphysical laws here, which were not made by us. We are beholden to them. And to some people's mind, being beholden to any law makes you not free. Yeah. And in a lot of, I call it the control, even Americans, man, if you tell an American that freedom is bad, they'll immediately start bristling. But think about that. So freedom to the people that we're talking about means they're free to break God's law. They're free to break natural law, right? They're saying that no, you, because I'm conscious, because I have consciousness, like you can't restrict my freedom. I'm probably, it's fucking late.
I get what you're saying.
And so basically, think of the hubris of that, man. Like when you look at this place, when you stop, being a farmer is a good gig. I highly recommend it. When you stop and you look at this place, like the actual world that like that they try to get out of your head in these concrete jungles and shit that we look in, when you actually just like stop and look at this place, you're like, holy shit. Dude, if you look at the soil and you start to just realize that, dude, that soil is made out of leaves, bro. How many years did it take this depth of like what basically I'm trying to get to is this creation that we're in is so fucking magical, right? That the hubris to think that you have a better idea of how shit should run than the creator of this thing that we're in is what makes the people that we're talking about.
Dude, have you ever, it's along the lines, have you ever heard of the argument for fine tuning?
No,
I haven't heard.
Just let's Google it. Like, it's basically the concept is that for things to be such as they are in the natural world, everything is so incredibly fine tuned that
someone had to make it.
Like, if the atmosphere was, half a percentage of less, oxygen, none of the shit would work. If the mechanisms that synthesize proteins, weren't exactly such as they are, none of the carbon-based life forms would exist, and it's just everywhere you look, there's such a tight set of tolerances that it's for it to be the result of an accident is insane, because it's like at every turn there's this very complex creator. Yeah, it's everywhere you look, there's something that indicates an act of engineering. And so for people that are on the fence about it, like for me, like reading the Bible, reading religious texts was not going to get me not going to cure me in my atheism, because I'm already starting from a point of complete skepticism. So like back then I'd pick up a Bible and it would be like picking up Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, dude, that's where I was at. I'm like, so that was never going to get me anywhere. But approaching it from the other side, like logic and a scientific basis for these things, and hearing like physicists and biologists and stuff that happen to actually be believers in God explain why it's absurd to believe what we're taught in school. It's like a joke, actually, like the shit like Darwinian evolution and stuff. It's like a hilarious joke. And then when, like, how these guys do, like, you start to see their humor and everything, and you're like, yeah, of course they've got us believing that something exploded. Something exploded and now we have eyeballs and shit. It's like,
or that you're a monkey.
Yeah, you're a monkey, and descendant of a banana.
there's so many just cross threads when it comes to this. It's so hard to just for me to get behind something because if there is a creator, how has all of this been allowed to me? That boggles my brain. Like,
I will offer this answer to that question for a hypothesis. I'm not a father yet, right? But I think about it a lot. Trying to be, I want to be way better than mine was. You know, he has some troubles, and trying to speak better of him. It's my lineage, right? But so I think often about, you know, what that's going to be like and how I'm going to explain this place to my child. But one of the things, it, everything is a microcosm to a macrocosm. Everything is a metaphorical representation of everything else. But the greatest gift you could ever receive, and we're all doing it right now, is free will. Right. So I personally, my opinion, you know, nobody has to go along with this. I don't pray because I don't think God works like that. You know, how I think it works is you are given time in this place as represented by Saturn in this cube. But in this time, you're completely free to do what you will, you know, with this time. It is absolute free will, you know, but at the same time, you are going to absolutely be responsible for everything that you do. So if for some reason you're some spirit somewhere floating in the infinite space of glory and everything, and you know, reality is just pure thought, you're just in a state of pure consciousness, there's no consequences. You don't feel consequence, you don't feel time. I can theoretically, I could think of the most beautiful thing I want, and it appears magically, right? You don't have to you don't have to live on the cross. A cross is an unfolded cube, by the way.
okay.
Yeah, typically takes 6 squares to make a cross, 1 on top, 3 across, 2 more down. That's like a box if you unfold it. You know, like if I take this little cube right here and I unfold this up, these sides down, and this side down, it turns into a cross.
Damn.
So, you know, the cross actually liberates you from the cube.
That's wild.
I know it takes a lot of fucking working in the it takes a lot of working in the shop with your headphones in to figure it out, right? But so this creator of ours, whether we came from another place or we matriculate up, you know, I heard Alan Watts say one time that, you know, consciousness crystallizes in us, right? Like, and perhaps the creator in its infinite wisdom just wants to see what you do with it. I mean, if you have infinite time, why not give something the gift of free will in a place where it can't damage anything? There's this beautiful garden that we live in. And, you know, when that soul comes back to you willingly after seeing everything, then you know it's love, right? Then you know then you know that it's appreciative. It has fully blossomed of its own free will. And like, look, man, in that free will experience, basically, I mean, some of us are going to choose to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know?
See, when it gets explained like that, the thing I get stuck on is the God concept, because I heard something the other day. If the only thing that is keeping people decent is the expectation of divine reward, then the religion that binds you is nothing more than a.
Yeah, but it's not that way. Like, you know, most you know, I don't want to judge anybody for their religious practice or whatever, but I wouldn't think a truly like spiritual person that was serious about any of that stuff sees it that way. You know, it's not about your reward that's due you. It's about the way you feel it's a very narrow path, you know, and the more time that you spend, dude, even like Christianity, the Bible, like all the information is in there. Like all the, like not all the information, but there's plenty in there to set you up down a very narrow path of like what you ought to be doing with your life and your time and how you treat people and everything. You know, it's all in there, right? And so it's mostly about how you feel when you stray off that path into the fucking rough, you know. And so
You're talking about like when you in the pit of your stomach when you feel bad for doing wrong.
Yeah, because ultimately it's an act against yourself. Like even when you act against somebody else, when you transgress, it's an act against yourself. That's why it sucks. It's not Yeah, it sucks. You know, dude, everyone does it. Like you get in an altercation with someone in your life or something, and you fire off at the mouth and you say hurtful things, or you act in a way that, you know, as soon as that rounds down range, you know
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
fucked up. And if you really are honest with yourself, you've done that to yourself. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what it's about. Yeah, you know, like I think the whole like we behave a certain way, it's our works, you know, and that's how we get into heaven. That's a very like like, you know, basement level understanding of like
It's like Santa Claus.
Yeah. It's you know, and but the thing is, to your point, that so for a lot of Christians in the United States, dude, that's all they get. They get the like threats of doom, you know, like
That's what
they
I'm
get,
saying. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they get a thing installed in them. Here's what you need to fear, burning in the, you know, hellfire and damnation for a million eternities or whatever, because you jerked off or whatever they tell you, right?
So fucked.
So whatever it is, you know, and then you know, but that's not sufficient to get you through life in this very complicated world we live in. Like, dude, the like the basics of Christianity is not gonna get it, dude.
Because
It's not
people
enough.
are
You know?
rewarded in the material world
Yeah,
for
there you go. You're rewarded for the exact opposite. You're rewarded material for being unscrupulous. You know, dude. If I'm a guess what? If I'm a sneaky little lying little snake and I'm out, you know, dating, then I'm gonna get the truth is I'm gonna get more women behaving that way. I'm gonna get more access to women by being a shitty little sneak. You know what I mean? Because
This may
what
be.
because what you know, because the alternative is like date one woman at a time, be honest, you know, like because what, you know, most women don't want to date someone that's dating a bunch of other people. So you slow everything down, you go one woman at a time. Well, that's not fun, you know what I mean? That's not who
that
wants to
could
do
be
that?
a waste of
But
time.
that's just an example, you know,
Exactly.
of how you know.
This may be a TMI moment, but it happened to me a few years ago and it fucked me up because I was dating this girl, and when we were having sex, she was a Christian, diehard Christian, and she punished herself for orgasming in the moment. Like she felt, and it was the fucking,
Cut
it
baby.
was the weirdest fucking thing I ever saw, and
Yeah, dude, that's
I was like, dude, do you really believe this right now? Like that you as a human being, you shouldn't be feeling like this is natural. Like I couldn't believe she was that fucked up in the game. Like like something that is supposed to be pure and good has got you this scared to be a human. It fucked me up, dude.
Well, dude, there's a lot of damage. People doing a lot of damage in the name of Christian, of any of these religions. But like, dude, just think about like all the scandalous, you know, stuff at the Catholic Church. Just think of that. Like, to be, you know, to be in a like this Catholicism is very like fear based, anyways. You know what I mean? So you're in this like fear based kind of oppressive religious culture, and then now you're getting raped by
Facts.
one of its functionaries. You know what I mean? That dude, that's
Chained to
How
the
much of a mind
radiator.
fuck is that?
they don't immediately find those guys and fucking put their head on a spike. You know what I mean? Like
If at all.
if that was a religion to be taken seriously at all, then the first order of business would be to get all the pedophiles out of your organization. But they don't. They just kind of like.
I mean, there is a statue of Moloch at the Vatican.
Yeah, the Catholicism's a real problem, dude. Sorry.
I believe that all organized religions at some point got infiltrated by something that we could call evil or
Call them
against
that.
them.
You could call
So
them.
I try to keep shit simple. Dude. I think
I was gonna say the J word.
we're gonna get
Juice box.
show canceled. So like, yeah, I need shit simple, dude. I think it comes from being a bomb tech, dude. I need to know where the power source is, the switch, and the detonator. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the package. Nothing, man. So what I've come down to is it goes back to that inversion thing. Like we live in an inverted world, right? And so you know, live backwards is evil. The word live in reverse is evil, right? Well, the word God in reverse is dog, and people were like, "What the fuck does that mean?" Dogma. Dogma is the inversion of a one-on-one relationship with your creator, right? Like I don't tell anybody what they should worship. I'm saying that you should have a personal relationship with that person, with that entity. You don't need an intermediary. God has your phone number. He knows who you are. If he wants you to know some shit, go somewhere by yourself and listen quietly, and
It's true.
It'll show up, man. Like answers will just pop in your fucking head, you know? And so the dogma is inserting an intermediary. Anywhere you find a middleman, like, dude, your bank takes
There's an issue there. Yeah.
Takes fucking $3 from you to get your money, bro. The middleman, dude, it's the nibblers, dude. It's the
nibblers.
The little motherfuckers in between you and the source, dude. That's taking a little hit,
taxing you,
taking a little hit, man. And that's what dogma is. It's taking a little hit, man, from you, between you. How could you not be 1-to-1 with it?
Yeah. No,
once again, being on the farm all the time, dude. I sit down. I'm like, what was Adam's relationship to God, dude? It's what it is when you're by yourself. Yeah. But there was no book, you know. It was.
That's true. The other problem is the benefit. So the benefit to a church organization in the modern world is like because the problem is there is a government, okay, and we're subject to it.
It conflicts with government. Yeah,
exactly. It used to be you could because you'd want to. It would be useful to organize with like-minded people that share your worldview to organize yourself to defend yourself from the government. Now the problem is, like, they've shattered Christianity to the point where there is no Christianity. There's 100 different, sects of the Protestant version of that religion. Then there's a couple sects of Catholicism, and then there's Orthodoxy. But there isn't one. If there was one, if most Americans were Christians and they practice their religion in basically the same way, the state would be fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened when Jesus was here. The state nailed his ass.
Same thing. Yeah,
they're like, we can't be having this,
And now you have Christians who are like, because the state.
Because he was telling the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the ones that were the interlocutor between people's spiritual life and the government. Real convenient, and they happened to be in charge of all the rules, and there was a bunch of nitpicky, ninny ass rules. And Jesus was like, "Don't listen to these guys; they're clowns. Just talk to the man anywhere you gather. That's the church. Check this out. I can heal this dude. Look, who's that Pharisee guy? What's he do? Nothing. Look at this. Hey, blind guy, you can see now.
He changes money in the temple.
Get up, walk, dude. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing playing out over and over again. And you see the modern Pharisees is like all these politicians with their cross pin on their lapel that are in the Congress, tears coming out of their eyes as they clap for Netanyahu every time he shows up 6 times this year or whatever. These are the Pharisees. These are people who are, I mean, these people are going to hell for sure, but like these are people that are preying on people because things are clearly not going well for the old United States or people in the world in general. But like they have their religious convictions and their faith as like the one thing left to like cling to, and these guys put a little pin on and go, hey, look, you can trust me. I'm gonna engage with these government people on your behalf because we're fellow Christians. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna need your son to go kill people for Israel because in the Bible says he who blesses Israel. I'll just say the word Israel in a weird way over and over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Mullah or whatever his name is comes on and starts crying about himself.
Dude, I would love to peel the skin off these people with a potato peeler, dude. Like Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham.
Ted Cruz says
Israel. I just want them to die.
It kind of worried. I did not think I would see Trump bending the knee for them, dude. And that worries.
That's a good thing to talk about.
It goes like this. In the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there.
He went bankrupt, right?
Yeah, Trump went bankrupt. Just for anybody that's not heard the story, Trump's casinos in Atlantic City were going bankrupt. Like I don't like the movie Casino. I don't know if you forgot to steal or like. First of all, if you have a casino, man, you are destroying people.
Oh, blatantly,
dude. Before I'll just keep going, so I don't go down on that tangent. But so the Rothschild Bank sent their bankruptcy vulture, this dude named Wilbur Ross, to go check out this Trump problem they got going on. Well, these are the type of people that plan for 200-300 years, right? Like so.
Same.
You know, there are folks, handlers of humans, that just think differently than we do. Like if you're a human farmer, then I have uses for good humans. I have uses for evil humans. I got uses for humans, bro. So
human farmer is wild. That's
yeah. So the way the mythology goes in the lore, you know, Wilbur Ross pulls up to Trump Tower and he sees this throngs of people flocking to see this fucking Trump idiot who owes them money. This is like Bricktop showing up. This is a mobster, dude. This is a member of the Rothschild banking concern for like 20
real one. Yeah.
Right. Like, so he shows up, talks to Trump. So basically he sees what sort of like high profile star power that Trump has. That's useful, bro. You put a guy like that in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? I can use that exactly dude for later. Yep. So he talks to the rest of the investors and be like, hey, we're going to bail this fucking guy out and we're going to leave him in the front. And apparently the rest of the investors were like, that's a stupid idea. This guy sucks. Right. Mm-hmm. But you know, being the type of people that they are, they bail the guy out. And so very shortly thereafter that you start seeing Trump show up on The Apprentice. You know, all of a sudden, like this media thing, he's on WW fucking F. Yeah. Like because who watches WWF, bro? That's fucking white people in Ohio, son.
Oh yeah.
Who they're gonna need to vote for this asshole in like 20 years. So they spend the next 20 years or so building the mythology of Trump. Right. And real estate's money laundering. There's a couple businesses that are straight money laundering. Art, fucking real estate, wine, you know. So the fact that he's this art of the deal shit, like, come on, dude. Like if I give you a zero interest loan and you go buy a huge fucking property,
dude, he's just bullying people with venture capital money and stuff. Yeah. It's all like brutal. Yeah.
So Wilbur Ross and the Rothschilds bailed fucking Trump out. Fast forward to Trump's first presidency, he appoints Wilbur Ross to be the Secretary of Commerce.
Yeah.
Which who the fuck knows what that leads to.
Yeah, exactly.
But so that's the payback. That's the long-term planning. If I'm the Rothschilds, hey man, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and bail this guy out because I've got infinite money.
Yeah.
You know, the Anglo-American empire belongs to me.
Plus there's other, like, you know, Trump was already, I think, on there in their circles anyway, because he's a Jesuit.
Yeah.
His uncle was big.
Apparently stole Tesla's tech.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trump.
What exactly is a Jesuit?
Jesuits,
it's the CIA of the Vatican.
Yeah, it's the militant order of the Catholic Church, but they're also like known, you know, connected to like Rosicrucian, Illuminati type, you know.
Yeah, the Vatican also has a terrorist organization called Papa Due.
Yeah, Deus. Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna be looking at that one. Jeez.
But you know, he went to whatever Loyola, I think is it's like the Jesuit college.
The school.
Yeah. But whatever. I mean, but you were asking like who saw this coming with Trump. I definitely didn't. Like, this is so much worse than.
Yeah, you did. I remember you calling
so much worse than I had imagined. Like, it was even possible. Like, and the fact that there are still people riding that guy's dick. Like, you remember during his first campaign, or I think it was his first campaign, where he was like, he made that comment. He's like, people love me so much, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the news was like, listen to the way he talks about it. Dude, he could, like, he just does whatever, and the MAGA people are like, they just make up a reason why it's cool. You're like, let's stop all these nonsense wars and no more wars of choice, and then he's just doing a war in Venezuela, and they're like, well, it was really cool because Delta Force went and cut, you know, like,
yeah. Dude, well, I mean, his whole campaign was Epstein, dude. His whole and he blatantly. Just said, "Oh no, that's just the erratic left."
Yeah, it's a Democrat hoax.
But what of the things that we've shared? What of all the sweet words that you spoke in private?
Well, that's just what we call pillow talk, baby.
Then the MAGA sycophants are like, yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, well, Trump's the only one. Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. It's like, dude, they were besties. All these new drops come out, and drop after drop just indicates that like Trump and Epstein were friends. They weren't like.
I posted this meme on IG, buddies, which was like, "There's more pictures of Trump and Epstein together than I have with me and my dad."
Probably true.
It's a absolute fact. And I've already seen more pictures of Trump and Epstein together than you would have to dig far and wide to find that many pictures of me and my father together.
Yeah. And why wouldn't they be friends? Like, as if Trump has some, so this is the other thing that's like Trump with this Miss America pageant and the modeling
Teen
stuff,
USA,
like he's on record. It's not like people have to guess what his motivations were. He's on an interview is like, oh yeah, he was talking about him and his buddy that also bought a modeling agency. Someone else like Larry Ellison or someone else whose name you would know. It's like, yeah, we bought those things because what better way would there be to get access to beautiful young women like that? Like they just say the shit out loud.
He tells his boy Billy Bush that you just roll in there and grab him by the pussy.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and her. She was married.
It's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
Jeez, your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my man! Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your life.
Sets this up.
That is very.
You give me the thumbs
Look
up.
at you. You are a.
You gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
Else off first? Yeah, let me.
It's very
You
funny.
gotta give me the thumbs up.
You and I will walk down.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
There's a little down below. Pull the hand.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how
nice
are you?
seeing you.
Pleasure
Terrific.
to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little hug,
Okay,
darling?
absolutely. Melania
little
said
hug for
this
the
was
bushy.
okay.
Right. And so
Yeah.
at the time when the lefties were all outraged, I was like, yeah, pussies. This is just how guys like that talk or whatever. Okay, fine. But now when you look into all this shit, it's like, and also I was pretty like I didn't have my same moral, like I saw things differently back then when that first came out. But to hear him say with his own mouth, like, yeah, I bought a company so that I could get easier access. No, you know what he actually said? It's so that he could walk into the changing room and nobody could stop him.
Wow.
And think about what that does too. So you meet this young lady, right? But what you also meet because they're there with her is you meet her parents.
Oh, dude.
So now you can look like, okay, because you got to pick and choose, right? You'd be like, okay, she looks like she might be susceptible, but her parents are on it. Like her parents are like, what? No, like we want to know where she's
That's
at.
exactly what that is. Yeah.
And then you see the one where the parents are sack chasers, dude. They're like,
they want the money.
They want the fucking money. You know, they might be drug addicts, and
They're hurting.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe I can get her, but tell her parents, hey, why don't you let her come to fucking wherever it goes, you know? And then, you know, hush money comes by. Like,
that's some dark shit too. Cause then like, think like you're a guy like Trump or 1,000 other guys like him that have that kind of money and power and that are creeps like that. What they get, what gets reinforced through reality for them all the time is what he's talking about. Like they know that they can buy people's kids from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So dark.
So that informs how they deal with humanity. Like, dude, they get enough money and power, and how could they not see the rest of humanity that's not in their strata of, you know, how could they not see everybody as cattle?
dude, let me tell you, Devil Dog's a funny story here. Since that's 3 fucking leathernecks here, man. I was in Thailand on my way back from the Fallujahs, and I had a teammate, man, country dude. I'm not gonna say any names, but I think his fiance was like a Philippine buy me, drink me girl in Okinawa.
Oh boy.
So we're in Thailand, man, and he's like, "Hey, man, every chick here is for sale." And we're like, "Nah, man, there's prostitutes and shit. Obviously, we're in Thailand, but not every chick is for sale." He's like, "Bullshit. Watch this, dude. We're in like this a nice hotel because it's Thailand,
Yeah,
we can afford it, and just in fucking Fallujah for 8 months. We got money, but dude, he calls up and asks for more toilet paper. This is the God's honest truth.
Oh, just to summon one,
just to summon the lady.
Yeah.
No shit. While we're in the room, he fucking barters with her to fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I think it came out to $150.
Easy.
And me and the buddy were like, we shrugged our shoulders and walked out, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. And she was literally just a hotel staff.
Literally the hotel staff, bro.
Yeah.
What does that do times 1,000?
Oh yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
dude, you said it with your Goodfellas analogy, dude.
Yeah.
Right now, they're just is that all America is?
Yeah, they're
just
burning the restaurant
out, and they're about to light the match. Are we in that era?
Yeah, I think they're dismantling what's left of the economic engine. The thing that's up in the air for me is like they still need the U.S. military as a tool for shit. So I don't know how much longer that, because they definitely still need that. Like this whole Venezuela thing, there's a lot of facets to it, but like part of it is like, we don't buy it because we know better, but like, part of this is like whipping your dick out a little bit and being like, we can come take
this is possible. Yeah.
Take your president. Because
it's basically putting all those other countries on notice, dude.
Yeah, maybe.
So the trick with this is the psychological operation behind this is, in my opinion, is that, hey, look, it's no, anybody's heard me talk will know that I'm hypercritical of the U.S. military, not for no reason. It ain't like I don't have 28 years of fucking experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Across all facets, it wasn't like I just didn't quit a job where I was calling dudes fucking homos inside of a fucking special operations command. You know what I'm saying? The real story is American people will not accept the amount of casualties that modern warfare produces, man. There are things happening on the Eastern Front. I read 2 reports, one of them classified and one of them that was like British sensitive, but it was on the unclassified system, where it was like British officers who were embedded with like Ukrainian companies, because anybody that thinks NATO people aren't fighting the Russians right now is dumb. Dude, that British company officer, so like a major or something, right, was explaining getting their asses kicked. Damn. Right. He's like, and he was reporting back, these are things that we would have done coming into this now that we know this. And one of them was like, hey, look, don't even train with your rifle, because the vast majority of the killing happens through artillery and drones.
Yeah, for sure.
Like drones.
Like, okay, you want to fucking like do CQB? Hey, that's neat. That shit doesn't happen here, right? Like, but so there are massive casualties over there, and it's we're not throwing the best NATO has against Russia. We still have special access programs and we still have capabilities that we're not giving to the Ukrainians, but Russia's smashing some pretty good shit.
Did you see Zelensky just exited NATO?
Well, he was never part of it.
I thought he was.
Anyway, so basically what I'm getting at is you're not going to be able to sell to the American people 15,000 casualties in a fucking month, right? So what you need to do is you need to find some poor brown people and you need to go brutalize them.
God, that sounds
and so with some sort of very, very fancy raid like this, right? Like the Osama bin Laden raid. Oh, cool. You sent 14 of the highest trained fucking dudes in the world to kill like a 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
Way to go, boys. You guys are through airspace with motherfuckers that we give $1 billion to every year, and we gave them their nuclear program. Oh yeah, you guys totally snuck in there. I'm sure you did, right? Like,
yeah.
So that's this fucking Delta Force raid, man. We can't sell to the American people soaking up the casualties that we're going to soak up against Russia or China, right? So what you need to do is you need to pay off a bunch of people that sell out Maduro, because that's word on the streets from people. Is that maybe his 2IC took a bunch of CIA money. And I think Aaron said it before we started filming, like that was probably Delta probably came in and like shook the dude's hand and like he got on the fucking plane. I mean, there's probably some backwards deal in the back, man. But But you need to sell that shit to the American people because the American people are dumb, dude. If you tell them that they're the best thing in the world, they immediately take it.
Well, they want to believe, dude. We want to win. We want to believe that our Delta Force guys can fly into Venezuela onto a military base and jack the president of Venezuela and his wife with take no casualties and scoot on out of there. People want to, dude. People want that to be the case. They want to go to the fucking Super Bowl and have fucking.
That has to be the story.
Like, they like that, like.
So the flip side is there was a helo assault in the Russo-Ukraine war not too long ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months, perhaps, maybe August. Anyway, dude, everything's on camera over there. I'll text you a good dude that I listen to for fairly unbiased. I mean, he clearly thinks NATO sucks, but like a somewhat unbiased shit on this. But so the Ukrainians send 3 Blackhawks to the front lines of Prokrovsk. And almost immediately, first of all, some drone that's just camping on a road. The place is so covered with fucking drones that what they'll do is they'll fly a drone out. And, that shit burns battery when it's just sitting there and hovering. So basically what they'll do is they'll just set it down on an MSR, like a main supply route, a high-speed avenue of approach. And when they see a vehicle coming, they'll just pop up and smash into it, right? Like, so this camping ass drone sees a fucking Blackhawk go by in its little field of view. So think about this, dude. Like, the battlefield over there is kilometers fucking long, dude. We got in like little squad on squad combat in the GWAT. Dude, this is regiments against regiments and shit.
Full formations of armor and stuff.
Like, and the Russians have such ubiquitous cover of the fucking FLOT, the forward line of troops, that this drone catches this fucking chopper coming in, man. So within short order, the rest of the constant ISR that's looking at the FLOT sees the chopper land and let out like 11 to 12 HRU Ukrainian intelligence, like soft dudes, right? Well, then very shortly after that, FPV drones kill these dudes.
Damn.
Like, you can't do that shit that Delta just did.
Doesn't work
against real nations.
No.
Right? Like, because it's just not going to fucking work, dude. I'm not saying that they couldn't pull it off. I'm not saying that they couldn't sneak in. I mean, they're the best commandos on earth. They couldn't fucking sneak in in some panel van. But also, like, look, man, there's nothing saying that, hey, man, I don't know why people think these Russians are punks, dude. When did this fucking come to be that's just propaganda. Aren't they the chess masters of the planet?
I mean, is Russia the only one that's going against the Moloch that we talk about, the followers of,
Well, Russia has a central bank, so that's a good question.
Yeah.
So does China. Russia and China both belong to the Bank of International Settlements.
I didn't know that about Russia. Huh.
Yeah. So that's the question. So what could possibly be going on? Look, man, they played this dollar scam out, bro. We're 37 trillion in the hole, man. That's infinite money in the hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing saying that, like, hey, look, they've played this shit out over here. They came over here, the international banking class, which is what we're talking about. They squeezed every red cent they could out of this fucking scam. So, okay, fine. The BRICS nations all have central banks. They all report to the same central bank. So there's nothing saying, who the fuck do we sell shit to, right? So you've already ran this money into the ground. Well, okay, fine. We'll sell fake plastic shit to people in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, Russia and China share a border. Bro, you don't think people in Russia don't like iPhones and fucking Game Boys, bro? Like, China can just sell it to them.
Yeah.
Like, why do they even need to fuck with us anymore? And that's kind of the thing that I think is coming, is that the American people are going to be like, hey, thanks for that several decades where we used you guys as the intellectual, like, drivers of developing all this bullshit that we're using. Cool. We don't need you anymore. So we're going to leave you in a dystopian techno fucking, like, prison state, and then we'll just go over here and work on these Africans. There's 1 billion Indians, bro. You don't think
seriously.
They like iPhones too. It's like, you just move the scam, you burn the restaurant down.
Yeah.
You move the scam to the next restaurant. And then sooner or later, the money machine they'll put the thumb too hard on whatever the BRICS is, like the BRICS dollar will get the thumb put too hard on it. Like it'll start as a gold based thing. And then 50 years later, they'll be like, oh, well, we can't just stay on gold because how are we going to build the next Chinese moon rocket or some shit? No.
So how do you see the whole Ukraine thing ending and when? I mean, it's got to be soon, dude. They don't have enough people.
I think they got to kill Zelensky.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to end, man. I think
someone is going to kill Zelensky, and that'll give the Western democracies their out.
That could happen, or they write it into the fucking ground, dude. And I was kind of hoping that. See, here's the thing, and this is, you go back to the thing where the netty, it's not this, it's not that thing. Everybody says that Russia's this aggressive, like bullying empire, for lack of a better term. They haven't invaded anybody except Ukraine.
Yeah.
And that was for a whole list of fucking reasons, right?
Yeah, they were provoked into that anyways.
Absolutely.
I think I lost where I was going.
We talked about.
I was kind of hoping that what we did to Venezuela would give Putin the green light to whack Zelensky.
You think he's got it like that, where he could? It's just a push of a button for him.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure he can.
I'm sure he knows exactly where he is. Dude, they have satellites and shit. Dude.
Yeah,
you're right.
Remember Sputnik, where Russia was allegedly in space before fucking we were? They had satellites before we do. Dude, they have scalar weapons and shit, dude. They blasted a bigger bomb than us. The Tsar Bomba is they have more nukes. I was recently at the Defense Nuclear Weapons School in New Mexico because I do shit like that. And they list out who has what nukes. Russia's got the most, then it's us, then it's fucking China, dude. Like,
and they don't know how many Israel has because Israel's not required.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy who works for some people who will just say work near a beach. Okay. One afternoon on the parking lot walking out. And they were super interested in somehow figuring out a way to get their hands on a Skyfall missile. Dude, Russia has nuclear-powered, nuclear-tipped cruise missiles.
Damn.
So how long can that loiter for?
Nuclear-powered?
Nuclear-powered.
Just hang out up there?
Yeah.
Like forever?
Yeah, nuclear. It's called a Skyfall missile. And they also have a nuclear fucking torpedo that's like the size of a real submarine. It's just a torpedo, though.
Jeez.
Nuclear-powered, nuclear warhead, potentially 100 megaton, which is 2 times bigger than their normal one, or their biggest bomb, which can just creep along the bottom of the ocean at a speed slow enough that nothing's going to really fucking deal with it. And then it blasts off the coast, and you get a radioactive tsunami.
Oh, I mean, you saw the oil tanker, dude, the other day. I mean, what does that mean?
What, us stealing the shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what it really? Who knows what it means? Because we're in 5th generational warfare now, so we're being shown these deliverables. We're being shown things on our screens and then told what to make of it. I don't know. When I didn't get all the details about the daring raid, because I'm like
Second Recon.
Well, that was Second Recon that took that boat down. Yeah. But for the big Maduro hit, they did a bunch of, it made me think of our old job. They did a bunch of like
they even SCADA
attacks.
And they called it layering
open source.
And layering of effects.
Which that part piqued my interest because I'm like, that would have been an interesting day at work to see.
Can you explain that a little bit?
A little bit. Like
so the systems that control most of your critical infrastructure mechanisms, for example, say like the switching on and off of things like railway transfer stations and things,
That's fucking insane.
Or like at a pumping, like an oil pumping station, like each individual solenoid that controls what pump does what at what time, usually made by the company Siemens, but it's called a SCADA system, SCADA, and these things are networked, right? So if you were to put a computer virus out that's looking for a specific setup of these systems, you can find them and you can do things like turn the pumps on, turn the pumps off. Dude, Superman 3 is a cool movie with Richard Pryor.
I don't think I've seen that.
Richard Pryor plays a hacker in Superman 3.
That's crazy.
And he does things like hack the weather satellites and make it rain and shit and destroy crops.
Nice.
And like reroute oil tankers and shit. And like, but what he starts by doing,
dude, that's real.
is Superman 3. Check it out. It's pretty fun. Anyway, but what he starts by doing is like turning stoplights on and off, and cars are crashing and shit. So it's that kind of thing. So one of the things that allegedly us and the Israelis did to take out the Natanz nuclear reactor site in Iran. So sometime Ahmadinejad did a cool guy pose in his nuclear facility where behind him you could see centrifuges, nuclear or depleted uranium enrichment, like centrifuges. Well, some brainy fucking geek in the basement of an Israeli building or NSA or something counted those counted those centrifuges, basically, right? Like, okay, he's got 12 of them behind him, and like they're this type, blah blah blah, and they're probably being ran by this particular SCADA system on the bottom. So what they did was they made this computer virus called Stuxnet, which was bespoke and special in a way. There's these things in the cyber world called 0-day exploits.
Yep.
So, the iPhone comes out on day 1, 0 day, and we don't know what the fuck is all wrong with this thing, right? And so it'll have 0-day exploits on it. Well, this Stuxnet virus had like 4 different 0-day exploits built into it, which means it's like a state manufactured thing. And I think some Belarusian fucking security analysts are the ones that actually picked it apart and figured out like where each part came from. But what this Stuxnet virus did is it infected everything, basically, literally everything. And what it would do is it would pop up in your system. So, hey man, whatever. Let's just say I'm on fucking Pornhub or some shit. And now I got Stuxnet on my computer. Well, it's going to pop up and it's going to see that my computer is not attached to any SCADA systems whatsoever, and just goes back dormant, doesn't do anything. And then so it pops up again and say it sees a SCADA system like, hey man, I made my way into an oil factory. Like some dude was checking his internet out in the parking lot. Now he's in the oil factory, plug some shit in. Now I can see that. Looking for SCADA systems. If it finds one, but it's not 12 of them in a row for this, it's looking for the exact setup that's in the fucking Iranian system, which is air gapped. Air gap meaning it's not attached to the internet.
Yep.
So the way they figured out how to get it in there is they infected fucking everything.
Every single thing you could plug into.
Every single thing you plug in, everything in Iran.
Anything that had any kind of set.
Like if an Iranian dude was going somewhere, Paris, whatever the fuck, they infected everything around, everything where he was going to fucking go. And that's how this I think it's a worm. I think this is how it got out into the environment. Is us, Israel, and probably Britain infected the entire world.
Damn.
With the Stuxnet virus, which means, by the way, now that they found it, that the setup for the Stuxnet virus, the code, I'm not a Python guy, whatever, but the DNA strand, if you will, for the Stuxnet virus is now known, which means any schmuck who's smarter than me on this type of shit could now redesign that Stuxnet virus to go screaming through American systems and do the exact same shit that we did to the Venezuelans. By the way, I got briefed to a report on how deeply embedded in all of our telecommunication systems across the southeast coast up to towards the northeast, how deeply into our like critical infrastructure and communication systems Huawei components are embedded.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the unclassified terror line, it ain't fucking good, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn.
You know that little thing that the Israelis pulled off where like all these phones and shit are blowing up?
Pagers.
Because they were deep in the supply line chain. Like they got deep enough into the supply line that they could get these things out everywhere. Bro, our supply line starts in China. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
what a joke.
Like who's to say they can't just shut these fucking things off? You know, like who's to say what kind of fucking chip is in this thing? Who's to say what kind of chip's in that computer? Who's to say what's in that fucking camera right there, dude?
Bro, it's worse than that. So let me lay this on you. This is open. This is open source. You can look this up. So munitions, we are woefully behind on things like 155 rounds because we gave them all to Ukraine and HIMARS, rounds, things like that.
HIMARS, perfect.
When you're talking about supply chain, you have like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So tier 1, so generally, like let's say Raytheon's making 155 rounds. The U.S. government, in order to, Raytheon to win a contract to make, 600 million 155 rounds or whatever, they're only required to show any transparency down into like tier 2 of their supply chain. So it's like, but most of that system is sub-tier components and materials, right? And some of these things, the U.S. government doesn't have any viz, and Raytheon's not required to show them. And in some cases, the companies that are producing, let's just say, like, I don't know, I don't know anything about munitions, but let's say the solid rocket motor part for some sort of rocket assisted munition or something, right? Well, for all anybody knows, so let's say a company called fucking, I don't know, Joe Bob's Rocket Motors in Des Moines, Iowa or something makes this thing, right? The U.S. government is not required to be shown or to demonstrate that parts of that thing don't come from like China or anywhere else. So like even our munitions, we don't have it such that, and the other scary part, it's like 80 something % of our munitions are that way, where like we don't have a handle on where the stuff comes from, and they're from overseas or otherwise like threatened supply chains, otherwise tenuous supply chains.
That's really the name of the game is getting a grip over supply chain to infiltrate.
Dude, and for all we know, like, and I don't know the answer to this, but for all we know, a protracted war with like Russia or China might not even be like possible for us. Like if we don't get a knockout punch within the first month or something, there's a good chance we couldn't sustain.
Yeah.
Because who knows? I don't know what China, like something tells me China and Russia never turned. So what we learned during this Ukraine thing is that Russia never turned off their wartime. They're like the Cold War ended and they kept up production for the most part of like Cold War era shit. So they have a bunch of, they have like legions of like old, T-55s or whatever, and like all the shit to keep them running. So like, yeah, these are old shitty tanks, but they have all the stuff to keep them running.
They go for days. Yeah.
They have the material to keep them. Then and there, they're fighting a place like Ukraine. They have a supply chain that's connected, whereas Ukraine's supply chain is like America. So it's like shit has to get one side of the world to the other.
Yeah.
The fucking problem, dude. Like I think this Venezuela thing, the way it happened, the way it came off is like a good, like I'm just being objective because I don't, this whole thing happened and like I don't feel any kind of way about it. I'm like almost not even that interested in it.
I think it's pretty funny.
I'm like, oh, it's cool. Like, and even if so, I think Delta Force, like, I think that was a facilitated thing. That was like an extraction.
Oh, yeah.
Him and his wife got renditioned. You know what I mean? They didn't like, this whole dramatic story about them racing to the safe room. And so they had, the Delta guys had to bring heavy breachers to breach the safe, also I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe. But even if it's just like 190 helicopters full of dudes and shit flew in, that's still cool. Like the fact that it even no one else is doing that shit, by the way, dude. Try to get even Russia or somebody, they're going to crash a helicopter. They're going to fuck that.
Yeah, facts.
That's going to be a shit show in some way. The fact that we didn't fuck it up is pretty impressive.
Oh, that's exactly what I said.
But and like if the second, third order effects that they're like bragging about actually happen, like, so Venezuela, the problem with Venezuela is they were going to sell all that oil to the BRICS nations. Like they were going to be a main, distributor or provider for Iran, Russia, China. And so now the other thing I heard is that like Maduro and all these, like in his dealings with Trump, was telling Trump, like, you can have all the oil. You could buy it from us, but like that, their whole thing about, I don't know. That's why they had to say it was like fentanyl related or narco.
Of course.
Because like they'd already spilled the beans about Maduro telling them they could have all the oil they want. It's like they make these half-assed things up, but it doesn't even matter. They're like, it's about drugs. Like it's narco terrorism. People are dying of fentanyl. And then Trump just pardoned the guy from the Honduras guy who was worse. Just pardoned him because he's like he's like sympathetic to Trump's like politics or something. So
somebody explained to me how all drugs don't come from Mexico. even if they originate in Venezuela and come from a fucking boat, they come through the U.S. Mexican border.
Yeah.
And we haven't invaded, dude. Russia invaded Ukraine for the shit that was going on along the Russian border.
Yeah.
To Ukraine, right? Like it was, the Ukrainians were telling like naturalized Russian speakers over there they couldn't speak Russian, they couldn't do all this other bullshit, right? Like they weren't being invaded. You know, this is what cracks me about motherfuckers from Texas. Like, nobody messes with Texas, bro. You let in every single illegal that's here. What do you mean nobody fucking messes with you?
Everything comes through you guys.
Everything comes through you. You let in everything. You're the worst fucking state in the union, basically. Like,
dude, but my other thing about this, go ahead.
So why don't we go to war with Mexico today? I'm down for that. Like, I might fucking go back to working for the military. Like,
seriously,
dude. But the other aspect of all this shit about the drug war stuff, it's like, dude, we're just talking about, we've stigmatized drugs and shit, but we're talking about a product. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about these people that have a supply that's meeting our demand. Why do we have a demand for fentanyl? Because our culture has been decimated. It's dog shit. Why do we have tens of thousands of people in any major city living in the streets just doing fentanyl and bending in half and dying?
Giving up on life.
Dude, it's because everything sucks. It's because you fucked everything up. You know, it's like these things are not isolated.
That's the real problem.
Yeah, it's not like, we're being targeted by these other countries with fentanyl. No, it's like we want it. Our people are in the street saying, "Give me."
No one talks about that, bro.
Yeah, what is it about your culture that turns people into drug addicts?
Yeah,
you know, like what hole inside their center do they need to fill with that chemical that doesn't come from family, doesn't come from culture, doesn't come from society? You know,
that's it. But it's a convenient excuse for these. I wanted to point something else out. Like, okay, I don't really care about the Venezuela thing. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a war? I don't know if it counts as a war or what it even is. I know that we're well past the point where we even pretend that the government has to ask for permission from the people to do anything. Doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Matter. No one talks about that though.
But the thing I'm wondering about is, okay, when you see who's happy about it, right? So one thing I saw was Ladybug Lindsey Graham on Air Force One, dude, and like if we could share a screen, I have it on Twitter saved, but he's giggling like a little kid. He's like full of glee, and he's like, "Wait, do you see what's next? Cuba's like talking shit. Like, wait, do you see what we have planned for Cuba?" And he's like, you know, previously him and Trump were enemies, and now they're aligned on this war thing, and he's giggling, and it's like he's one of the most disgusting. You know why he's called Ladybug, right? If you're listeners to Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, just anybody that's listening, just go on the internet, look up why he's known in the homosexual male prostitute rings in DC. His nickname is Ladybug, and there's a reason for it, and it's disgusting. That aside, he's also a murderous little fucking creep, dude. And he's one of these like Rubio's one of them. The government's full of them. These people that get, especially the Zionists, and he's also a Zionist, they get, when you watch them, they get this like glee about them when they're talking about violence that's going to befall other people, that's not going to be perpetrated by them. These people have no stomach whatsoever, probably personally, they probably are more than happy to victimize. They probably do violence against people that can't defend themselves. But in actual, like when they talk about war, they don't have any stomach for it. Actually, dude, people that cheerlead for fucking war that don't participate in it make me fucking sick. It makes me angry. And that's what Trump's one of those guys too, man. Like, I'm done tolerating any of this like tough talk from these pussies in suits. Like, no, dude, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know who was like that? Like, not to talk ill of the Saint Mattis or whatever, but like,
no, please do
a bit like that too, dude. Like, he had all this tough talk. Like, he'd sit there in those congressional testimonies and say shit like, you know, sometimes we just got to kill these guys and we don't mind because it's a lot of fun or whatever. And at the time you get all pumped up and you're like, yeah, Mattis. But then in the aftermath, after all this war, I'm like, bitch, you've killed 0 people.
Yeah,
it's fun. Tell me about the most fun you've had shooting somebody, General. Oh, you just talk. That's you
never
just,
happened.
Shit. Okay. You're talking shit. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll tolerate a little talking shit from a Marine general.
I think his
like,
convoy got in a gunfight in like 2004. One time.
And he had to get up on the 50 and like.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Time engaged, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About to get wild.
Well, try to look at this through a different lens, at least. The only way that any of this can be quelled at all is if the generation that talks all this shit about going in the GWAD and standing for something and protecting freedoms were to try to overthrow our government in a way. That's
I mean,
you know what I mean? And
So,
it's never going to happen.
how old are you, Nick?
I am 35.
Okay, 35. I'm 47. Aaron's a smidgen older.
50.
Dude, it is on the shoulders of basically us, our generation, you know. I mean, it's like some 1775 shit right now, dude.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Like the beast is ready for you to use violence.
Wants you to.
Dying for it to fucking happen. You know what I'm saying? So what I've stumbled upon, I don't know if it'll work. I'll tell you in about 20 years, man. But we have to separate ourselves. We're in a bad relationship. We're in an abusive relationship. What this crazy bitch wants us to do is go in and hit her because she's going to call the cops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to leave, you know. So not too long ago, 2021 style, you know, I found this 52-acre farm. I was like, hey, homie, you want to go in on some fucking land, dude? Because we need to build away from these fucking psychopaths.
I see what you're saying.
Right. And for the younger generation, you know, the guys that are younger than us, like, look, man, if you follow, we said this on our last show, I think, if you follow the construct put forth to you from the boomers, you will die. You have no fucking future.
Period.
Like, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Like, time now, for people who can already see it and for people who maybe are open to seeing it, like, you need to start clicking up, dude, straight up.
Yeah. Yes.
According to the Lord, there are 13 families that rule this fucking planet from antiquity, right?
Yep.
You know, I doubt that. I mean, there's a lot of people, unless you're a Mormon, there's a lot of people that don't even know the people that are in their fucking family, right? Like, and I guess what I'm trying to get to is, like, even if they're not your family, you need to find people that agree with you. Like, look, people used to get in wagon trains and get the fuck out of Dodge, right? They're like, hey, look, this ain't for us wherever we're at. We're going to get in these wagons. We're going to drive west. We don't care how far it has to go. But sooner or later, we're going to drop anchor and we'll just start a new town with a bunch of us who think the same way, man. There's land all over this fucking place, man. Like, dude, I knew a guy in my last gig, dude, who fucking ponied up like $700,000 for not even a new house. You do building shit, right? Like, for a house, you know, whatever, man. Maybe it's 3,000 square feet, dude. I don't know, you know, but it ain't 700,000 fucking dollars worth, dude. Like, if you could find people, man, that are willing to start something new, you need to do it yesterday, right? Like, and it may be something different. Everything might look different, right? I used to call this place the Village Stability Platform, VSP, because we both did VSP operations in Afghanistan, and that's basically what we need, dude. This thing is gonna get rocky, dude. I don't know how rocky it's already fucking rocky. You go to the grocery store,
it's brutal.
Oh, I got some ramen and a fucking energy drink, and it's $300.
Yeah,
it's already bad, dude. So what I'm saying is, we don't know this thing where we got told where you have to go do your own thing. Every individual unit of person has to be your own successful thing. Like, dude, the people that took this place over did it because they clicked up. That's why cartel, drug cartel.
Exactly.
They clicked up. NATO is a fucking cartel. It's a bunch of countries that clicked up.
Same thing.
Normal people need to click up.
Yeah. Facts.
You know, and we're not breaking any laws, but we're just saying no to the offer. And we're moving away, dude. I'm looking at breaking every fucking tie that I possibly can with this fucking system, right? Like, because they're not on my side.
Well, plus you don't, you know, and if you're with your hand out, right? Like, asking to be because we have this social contract and we are born into this arrangement where we just accept, like, hey, you know, you provide us these services and we we obey by these rules, and we allow you to tell us that it's time to send our son off to war because there's some threat or whatever. Okay, well that shit's done. So it's like it's done, but what's still real is like they're still providing services, and so if we're still accepting the services, then that limits the amount of fuck you we get to say. So the more you can build more fuck you power by needing less from them. And look, they're going to have their hands full with everyone with their Glock with the switch in it and machete that's going to come cut their fucking head off as soon as they can't get taquios 48 hours into this fucking thing. You know what I mean? So delicious. Like they're going to be quite busy with the people that are 100% dependent and have no capacity or capability for any kind of independence. That's a good percentage of the U.S. population has absolutely no capacity, capability, or wherewithal to feed themselves or do anything for themselves. So if things get bad, that is going to take up all of their energy to pacify and deal with that. Now, and this might be rose-colored glasses or wishful thinking, but if there are other people who have most of it handled for themselves and are just quietly off somewhere, teaching their kids Latin or something, it's hard for me to. Now they may be like, well, we can't be having any of that. Send the fucking helicopters. Then it's on, fine. But they may have their hands full.
Then the mask is off. Yeah.
So to put this in a way that's productive or at least positive to anyone that maybe is just starting this journey of truth, you guys just set the example. To be real, comfortability is the drug that we're all hooked on.
That is certainly true.
Yeah.
That's my big limiting factor is like, dude, I'm 50. I've got kids in the suburbs.
Family.
It's all very like comfortable still, even though things are expensive. It's still, I'm not making any progress in like slowly inuring ourselves to discomfort or anything. I'm basically just like trying to keep it all steady state.
Yeah.
So it's, but so I have some empathy for people that are like, fuck it. Like if shit collapses, I guess I'll just die, like, or whatever. Or like, I'll just start stealing, or I don't know what, people are going to do. But like, but I do wish people would at least like stop believing like all, people like have become aware that they're being lied to, but they've only
they're accepting it. Yeah.
They like move one step. They move one step to being like, oh yeah, that side, they lie. They talk a bunch of shit. Thank God I listened to Dan Bongino or whatever, and it's like, no, dude, like come another layer out. Like that guy's lying too. Like
or better yet, everybody on TV is lying to me, but Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Sean Ryan.
Dude, and like this is where I'm at with that shit. Cause like I was hanging out with this girl who really likes like Tucker Carlson and Sean, and I go in Candace Owens, and I go, I like him too. Like I like Tucker. I like watching it. Now, I think he's a CIA guy in a show, and he's lying about a lot of stuff. But I like some of the stuff. Like some of the stuff is good to hear, whether he's a liar or not. He's telling you things that are true. It's your job to have the discernment. So I have the discernment. I go, that's fucking stupid. I'm not, but I'm also not taking any action on. None of what Tucker Carlson said is actionable information for me. I'm not going to like, take or not take a vaccine based on Tucker Carlson. Okay. So fine. So he's just out there and it's a thing I can listen to. Sean Ryan. I don't know what his deal is, but I do like some of those interviews with these Delta Force dudes. I like listening to some of it. The ones where he has like alien people on, I don't even try to listen to. I'm not interested.
Are you guys plugged into that at all? The whole disclosure movement? Is there anything?
No, I think it's fake. Credible? I think alien shit's fake.
Yeah.
I don't care about it at all. I think it's fake and gay. So when he has those kind of people on, I go, he's either he's like I can never tell with him because he's not the smartest dude. So I'm like, he might just be jerked around by people.
I think that's what's happening.
And he's like, well-intentioned, and he's not that smart.
What exactly is he pushing, though? Is he ever pushing?
You can't tell. No, he's never really pushing.
He's
gummy bears.
Exactly.
People like that, in my estimation, whether they're witting or unwitting, are bleed valves. They are pressure release valves.
Yeah.
So in a closed system, which we are in, you need a steam valve. You need to release that pressure before it builds up. And so they are pacification programs.
Yeah.
It gives your Takio eating, it gives your fucking Mountain Dew and Cheeto eating dude in his truck something to be like, yeah,
I got an advocate. That guy's talking shit on my behalf.
They're asking the fucking hard questions on the Sean Ryan show.
In a little bit, it's true. Like,
and nothing will ever come.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, and it's all questions after the fact that don't matter. Like, you know what? It doesn't matter at all who killed Charlie Kirk. Not at all. And we're never gonna know. You know what I mean? So, but it sure has been interesting. This is what we talked about on one of our shows recently. This is the new reality TV. It's spilled over into the physical world.
Yeah.
So reality is participatory now in a certain way, and it's
live.
It's live and it's fake and it's real. It's all at the same time. Now okay, fine. So now you have permission to this is the other thing. You don't have to care about any of this shit. You know what I mean? You can decide, and it should be a short list.
You talked about this in your last episode, dude, and I really checked.
Dude, what gets your attention and your energy? It should be a short list, because the bigger that list is, the less attention and energy to go to each thing, and you have nothing. So it's like, you shouldn't have unlimited attention and energy for figuring out who killed Charlie Kirk. I already don't care. I don't even think he's dead. I think he's in Valhalla Island where Cash Patel visits him, and they fucking get their dicks out.
I barely knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah. It was fucking weird looking.
Dude, his wife is just acting.
Oh, she's the interesting part of all this, because she's a good one for like people's discernment. It's a good discernment test.
She looks oddly like JD Vance, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw someone make it. She's a total weirdo and an actress or whatever. And so it's like, then you feel a little sorry for Charlie Kirk. I'm like, this is a no pussy getting dude for sure.
Yeah.
Fair, evangelical. I can't even see one until I'm married or whatever. Then, dude, someone sicks this fucking viper on him.
It's exactly what it is.
Blinged out fucking
evil bitch.
This evil, like, dude, that clip of her talking to she was getting interviewed, and she's like talking about our God is a vengeful God, and she's saying all this wild shit.
Yahweh.
Like,
she's talking about Yahweh.
Yeah, dude, she's doing like Old Testament, like snake eyes shit. I'm
scary
like,
shit. Yeah,
scary. That's a scary broad.
Yeah.
So now I feel like Charlie Kirk. I'm like, that poor guy, dude. Like,
you're thrown in a pit of vipers, dude.
Yeah, dude. She got him.
Fuck. Well,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you should, I think the next catastrophe, like political catastrophe, because Trump's really shit in the bed. Like, people are not into it. I think the Democrats are gonna fucking beat that ass. Like, this next set of and this is shit I don't care about. I would never vote. Like, I think it's all crazy.
Yeah,
it's all pro wrestling. But like, I think what we're getting set up for is
the complete takeover.
The thing's gonna go right back to the left again, and things are gonna get real gay.
That's terrifying.
But I don't know if it'll get. Dude, I think like some of that lefty stuff, like, you can't see it bubbling back up. Like, they can't do the trans thing again. I don't think it would work.
I'm a fan of Jason Brashears from Archaics.
Yeah, what's he got going on?
And he is pontificating, hypothesizing the rise of the Christian Reich. Reich, like R-E-I-C-K, Reich.
I'm listening.
Like Christian Reich.
I'm listening. What do the uniforms look like?
hopefully Hugo Boss, man. Like, old school.
Dude, can we listen to Wagner?
But how many
dude?
How many like high profile?
Will there be cathedrals?
Have you seen the Russian soldiers cathedral?
Yeah,
it's the most metal shit
is dope
fucking ever. It's like
pretty badass, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, so the rise of the pendulum does swing back. So the pendulum was over to the fucking Moloch abortion.
Yeah. But now it's going
trans, but now it's swinging back the other way. Right?
Okay.
Because back to whatever the fucking whatever Christianity is nowadays, right?
But it'll be like a dark Christianity.
Oh,
it'll be the Christianity. It'll be the Judeo-Christianity.
I'm not into that.
So how many influencers recently have like swung back to being fucking Christian?
A ton of them. Dude, even like Rogan like, apparently sneaks off.
Yeah, like he's all super interested in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm starting to realize how stupid he is, dude. I used to be a big fan of him.
But like, Jesus had a pretty sick overhead squat.
Yeah, he's very slow. Like,
well, same thing with Ryan, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think this is so. Let's spitball this real quick. I think what's happening with all this anti-Semitism shit is a psychological operation to get the diaspora to fall back to Israel.
Yeah, get them on the road. Yeah,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Make it look like, hey, it's not safe for you anywhere else, right? So what you have to do is you have to come back to the mainland here, right?
Motherland.
Load up the wagons and get on down the road, guys.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably, I mean, it's already out there, man. It's already out there how bad like Israel's been fucking us over.
Israel
for like the longest time.
Oh, dude, they've been
our best friend and ally.
Yeah.
Construct of the Rothschild family.
Yeah.
Has been fucking us over for like years, right? So I think what they're sort of fomenting long term, because again, we're talking about 20, 30, 50 fucking year plans here, right? Shit that like in that movie Dune, the Bene Gesserit sisterhood would go around and set shit up,
set up religions.
Like, hey, let's make a bunch of myths about.
The Messiah's here.
No, Paul Atreides. Isn't it weird that all three of the primary religions of the fucking, like, obviously Buddhism's not into this thing, but like they all have a messianic like bent to them.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I think what they're setting the stage for is, you know, the big Armageddon fucking showdown, right? So they're going to separate Christians from Judaism, right? Because, you know, we were texting back and forth, man. It takes one Grok search to find out what they really think of Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like how long is it going to take before Christians start looking that shit up?
Yeah,
you know, true. Right. So just kind of playing this out in my head, right? Like this, they really let the wool slip from what they've all been up to, and the fact that they're just fucking devil worshippers, for lack of a better term, or they're fucking Saturn worshippers.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that solidifies Judaism together in this new Pax Judaica, greater Israel empire that they're building over here, right? We all know the Muslims ain't cool with that shit, so that's going to be a problem.
That's the only one left that's
right.
That's against it.
So one of the things that there's this Chinese professor that for some reason is allowed to say all kinds of shit.
Yeah, he has a good. I've listened to.
I listened to a ton of his stuff because I'm like, this is fairly interesting. It's interesting to see like an outside perspective.
What's his name?
I'll text it to you, but
he's really clear. He's very clear and organized in his stuff.
He pointed out an interesting thing while Aaron looks up the guy's name. It's worth saying out loud. You know, from the Bible times when they're talking about Israel fighting the world at the end times, personally, I think they're fomenting like an end times pageant. Like, is that Israel stands alone against the world, where the world in that particular time frame consisted of the Mediterranean. That's Middle Earth. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We weren't there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Americas, that's the underworld. When the sun went over the fucking horizon and went down and went to the underworld, that's the Western Hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't exist as far as like they're concerned of during that time frame, right?
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
There were Phoenicians and shit over here, but they weren't concerned with that. So I think what they're actually talking about is Israel against the fucking Mediterranean. You know, and so what they need to do to get that to happen is they need to get us the fuck out of the picture. Right. So, and how's that going to work? Well, simple. They control your entire government and run your money.
Already done.
Yeah. Run your money system into the ground, destroy the family. I mean, I don't know, man. Everything, right? Like, who owns every fucking porn site? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you basically destroy America and get it out of the way. So we can't basically do anything when this shit goes down over here. Right.
It's Professor Zhang explains, by the way.
Yeah.
Jiang. Professor Zhang explains.
And he is, I guess, a subject matter expert on game theory, like video game theory, you know. And game theory is highly interesting, dude.
Yeah.
It's what our reality is. That's what's happening in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah. It explains secret societies because, you know, you watch things like the any reality show where people are like trying to vote each other off the island and shit. The first thing they do is start clicking up.
Yeah.
And then they don't tell anybody else that they clicked up.
Behind the scenes click ups. Yeah.
That's what the fuck we're dealing with.
Name of the game.
You know? So he looks at everything through the lens of game theory. You know, like and when you have a good basis of logic like that, you know, it'd be like any logic basis really. if you just, yeah, I like looking at things through like the lens of a pathos argument or a logos argument or an ethos argument. You know, if you can tell how somebody's trying to convince you of things. So that's the three rhetorics, or the way the Greeks broke out how an argument could be structured using rhetoric. So pathos is pathos, pathology. It's the way you feel. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to convince you of something through your feelings, through your pathology, right? So they'll say something like, well, you don't care about Afghan little girls being able to read. Of course, we should spend 20 years in Afghanistan for fucking $20 trillion. And you're like, hey, man, that ain't my problem, bro. That's a pathos argument. You know, that ain't even why we went over there. You know, that's like, that's pathos. They're going after your feelings. Like, well, of course we should, like, women should be able to kill babies. Don't you want women to have freedom of choice? I'm like, well, I'd rather they just not let dudes nut in them. Isn't that better to the left? You know?
Right.
Like, hey, if that ain't the dude you want to be a dad, you know, when your cycle is, maybe don't let that dude glue you shut. You know what I'm saying? That's a pathos argument. And then an ethos argument is like an ethical argument. It's me making a claim to authority. It's me saying like, hey, man, because I was a chief warrant officer, everything I say about the fucking military is correct. That's an ethos argument. That's like, well, not really, man. I know a lot of douchebag chief warrant officers. Like, I don't,
exactly.
You know, it doesn't mean anything. You know, that's like standing on your rank is an ethos argument.
Gotcha.
And then a logos argument is like, hey, brother, check it out. 1 and 1 equals 2. Cool. And you're like, okay, I can see that with my own eyes. I can, yep, that is correct. You're not saying that you're an expert. You're not appealing to my inner feelings of things, because your feelings are like the fucking weather, bro. They can lie to you. You know, you can have, your feelings can be wrong.
Very true.
So I try to only deal with like logic discussion points, or like logic arguments, essentially, right?
That's safe.
Yeah, I think I got off on a bender there.
Oh, it's all right. I just had to.
What I'm starting to realize is that we're actually a target, though. Us are the last strength, if you will, or is the box completely checked of our generation, of everyone from our generation? Is it destroyed in a way? Are we that weak?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's just uninformed, man. It's uninformed because, you know, the education system doesn't tell you shit, man. And we've recently found out that apparently the books were made by Maxwell's dad or some shit.
And look, like, the human consciousness is the most valuable commodity that exists, more than anything that's material. Like, because if they can influence your will, then they don't need to use material resources to control your behavior. They just get you to do what they want you to do. So they figured this out a long time ago, and we're not armed against it. Like, we're not educated. Like he just explained the the pathos, logos.
Yep.
Ethos.
Yeah. But I mean, these are things that should be taught to people, like the laws of formal logic, the fallacies. Like, if you just taught young people, you know, if that was part of your primary basic education, to understand that, like, hey, like, there's these very simple, you know, tactics that people use to manipulate you. And there's, you know, these logic is set up in a certain way that, you know, if people violate these fallacies, it's very easy to spot, you know, a straw man fallacy or a slippery slope fallacy, or there's, you know, 10 main ones that people wittingly or unwittingly kind of slip in when they're trying to fuck with you. Like, people could be educated in those things, and then at least be able to go out in the world and identify and be armed a little bit against this constant bombardment.
Able to defend against it. Yeah,
dude, it's everything from governments trying to control you to just people trying to sell you stuff, you know, and it's like, and now it's gone beyond, it's not like, Mad Men, the show anymore, or
I love that show.
You know, where they're trying to market shit to you. Now they have algorithms that figure out, based on your behavior online, how best to target and market. And that's not just products, it's political stuff. It can take a certain type of person and move them into a political faction just based on feeding shit to your phone.
That's
radicalize
wild.
You and push you into a political camp based on that. So this is what people need to be armed against. You know, I don't even think about it that much anymore, because
Can't do anything about it.
no, I just feel like I already know. I have a pretty good handle on that stuff. I'm sure I'm influenced in some, but like the people the influencers that I watch, I'm highly suspicious of them and I don't like them, basically, like I like them, but I don't trust them. So like, because I like Tucker Carlson or something. I'm like, I'm interested in what he's saying. I'm interested in the topic, but also I think he's a CIA guy. Fuck him. But also I kind of like him. It's all just like, you can't get invested in any of this shit.
You got to pay attention to what he's making you feel.
Yeah.
Also what they're saying, because what they are saying is the narrative, right? They're saying like, oh, well, this political party is doing this and this political party is doing this, when actually, no, man, they're just working. And some of them are actually saying that now, but then that's the funnier question is like Tucker Carlson will admit that there is an oligarchy, like a billionaire class, like a predator class.
Yes.
Okay, bro, who name them?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he gives us nothing to. You're right. I hear what you're saying.
Hey, say the names, bro. Name the names, right? Like the Astor family, the Collins family, the Russell family, the Medici family, the Orsini. Name them, motherfucker. Like, what are you afraid of? That's right, because you got a leash, bro.
Yeah.
They'll kill him.
Yeah. Hey, not only the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, like the fucking Carnegies, the Mellons.
Goes deeper than that. Yeah.
By the way, this is where they live. I ain't saying nothing, but I'm saying if you're close to them,
something, drop a name. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
his dad's connected, dude.
I like Aaron and I got a couple, external like buddies that are former felons, man. Big Hurt from Fresh Out. Sinister Monopoly, Big Ant, I like these guys, man, because they stand on business, son. Like, inside that very closed system, if you acted a certain way, if you got out of pocket,
you're held responsible.
You were held responsible. And in the military, a lot of times that's also the way it happened.
Yes.
If you got out of pocket with Big Sarge, you got socked up. And if he couldn't do it himself, 5 other sergeants from around the way were coming to your fucking hooch, right?
Got a visit to the tree line. Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I moved out in the middle of nowhere, man, is natural laws, God's law type stuff. I have no responsibility to fucking to defeat evil next to this pine tree over here, because evil's not here.
Yeah.
I don't, you ain't going to catch me standing around evil. You know what I'm saying? Because at a certain point, when the rubber meets the road around here, it's going to come time where, hey, man, you were proximal to what? And what did you do? Like, you were standing right next to who, when what happened? And you didn't do a fucking...
Put the blinders up. Put the blinders up. That's what they do.
Well, hey, man, like, it's in the official record of this life, whether it's the Akashic record or whether we just remember what you did, or what you didn't do. There was a memo that came out on May 7th, 2025, an official DOD memo. I'll text it to you. That says the jab mandate was unlawful and harmful, and there were some other unlawful, harmful adjectives and synonyms in there as executed. Basically, the military did not have the right to order you to fucking do that bullshit. It's in a DOD memo. It doesn't have Hegseth's signature on the bottom. It has some other dickhead. But so everybody that didn't want to do it, they were right. If it's illegal now, it was illegal then. So everybody that was coerced, everybody that was threatened, everybody that fucking, hey man, we were there when it happened. I remember what happened. I don't fucking have amnesia. I remember who went along with it. So now if you're in the military, time now, what the fuck are you doing about it?
Exactly.
Are you pulling that memo up? Do you know that memo exists? Are you going to the fucking JAG and you're like, hey man,
shit. What, to hold accountable the people that coerced and did all that shit?
Yeah. Because everybody went along with it.
Exactly.
And
they're fine with that.
And they may not be fine with it, but what are they going to fucking do about it? And that's a lot of what this is, dude. This is that prima nocta shit, dude. I've said it 1,000 times, dude. When they roll into your village on your wedding day, fixing to rape your old lady, dude. Prima nocta, the king of England. The descendants of which is still the fucking king of England. Dude, if you're English, fuck you, first of all. Wow. We ain't friends, bro. Fuck every Englishman. Anyway, like, once they roll in and rape your old lady, now what are you doing about it? But, well, it turns out not everybody's fucking William Wallace, bro. A lot more people are like, my old lady's just gonna get fucking raped, homie. So I keep paying my mortgage.
Yep.
And I'm like, cool, man. I just want to hear you say it out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that way I know in the future when this shit starts getting rough, and I'm like, hey, man, you had the chance, man. Don't come here. You know, like
that's a hard quote right there. Not everybody's William Wallace. Clearly.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah.
It's hard not to talk to say all this stuff and I identify with it and not just feel a way about it all, man. It's like,
well, you should. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's very disturbing. It's definitely not optimal.
But it blows my mind that more people don't think this way. Like
people don't. I mean,
it's very lonely.
Stare into the abyss. You know, they want to.
Dude, Noam Chomsky said some shit one time, and I thought this quote was his. And Noam Chomsky, you know who that guy is?
No.
He's like a famous counterculture type guy. He wrote him and his buddy ripped off that manufacturing consent.
He ripped that off?
Yeah, from fucking Edward Bernays.
Oh, okay.
Propaganda. It's propaganda. The book Propaganda by Edward Bernays is then like repackaged for manufacturing consent.
I didn't realize that he did.
By fucking Noam Chomsky. So Noam Chomsky was like a very famous counterculture guy, counter government type dude. It's very funny. As soon as COVID rolled around, he was like, we need to put all these unvaccinated.
He got real weird about that.
In fucking camps.
A lot of the shit he used to say back in the day was right, you know, but he definitely cucked to the whole vaccine.
Yeah. Well, later on, he's on a picture with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
So
go figure.
Yeah. So I thought he made this quote because there's a famous interview of him interviewing a TV reporter, basically explaining him how power works. And the TV reporter.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The TV reporter's like, well, I don't think that's how that works. And Noam Chomsky was like, well, that's why you're sitting there. You wouldn't be sitting there if you had a different opinion.
Yeah. That's why you're here. Yeah.
So
true.
I thought he said this quote, but it was from somebody else, I think. But it says, never argue with a man whose job depends on not being convinced. Or it is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon him not understanding.
I've heard that one. Yeah.
Or it can be very hard to understand something when misunderstanding it is essential to your paycheck. Yeah. Or finally, it is rather pointless to argue with a man whose paycheck depends on him not knowing the right answer.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
People are beholden to their mortgages.
Do I think my last thing, because I got to pee, is that there's three psychological experiments that are super easy to find, and they basically lay the groundwork basically for how society functions. And the first one is in no particular order, the Stanford prison experiment.
I've seen it.
So the Stanford prison experiment is if you put somebody in clothes or a uniform and you tell them that they're something, they immediately start to act like that's their thing, right? We got told we were Marines, so we acted like Marines. You know, we did all things thereunto pertaining, you know. It's the Stanford prison experiment, you know. They gave us junior Marines, we were senior Marines, so we fucked with them. That's the Stanford prison experiment.
Positions of power. Yeah.
Because my chevrons were bigger than his. You know, literally we're the same humans underneath all this shit, but like we're in uniforms. The second one is the Ash conformity test, and Ash is like ASCHE or something like that. Ash conformity test, and how that test runs is they would bring in a test subject into a group of like, we'll just say 10 people. Well, the test subject is the only dude not in on it. The other 9 people are in on it. And what they'll do is they'll say like, they'll set this little square down and be like, that's a triangle.
Yep.
Right. And 9 other motherfuckers in there say, yep, that's a triangle. And me, I'm like, bro, that's a fucking square, bro. Like, what do you, and 70% of people would go along with this being a fucking triangle, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. 70, and that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
And in their brain, they will come up with reasons why that was a triangle. So that's the Ash experiment, the Stanford prison experiment. I believe the third one's called the Milgram experiment. Yeah. And it's kind of like a play on the Stanford prison experiment. In the Milgram experiment, like I'm wearing a lab coat. Aaron is the Tessa. Aaron is the guy we're fucking with, basically. Right. And he's got a list of buttons in front of him. Now, in an area that Aaron can't see is supposedly a guy and who's going to answer questions. And every time he gets a question wrong, I'm going to direct Aaron to touch one of these buttons, which is going to shock the dude. It goes from like 15 volts to like 150,000 volts.
Kill your ass. Yeah.
Kill your ass.
Yeah.
So even though the dude on the other side is screaming and begging for mercy, me in my lab coat, I can make Aaron give him the 150 fucking thousand volts, dude. And we fell for that. Somebody told us there was weapons of mass destruction, and we went
Same thing.
fucking
Same
murdered
exact thing.
everybody, son.
Dude, you know that in Ghostbusters they
That's-
play act that when
Yeah.
he's doing it with that chick.
Yeah. Ghostbusters 1.
Oh yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
I have to watch that again.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So anyway,
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah, those 3 experiments. If people look into those and just sort of extrapolate into how they could be being used against them right now, I think that'll help people out.
I think that's a good bookmark right there. I'll leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for having us. It was fun.
Always a pleasure,
Man,
guys.
awesome
Great
catching up with you,
conversation.
dude.
We'll talk soon. And Godspeed, guys. Keep your head down, huh?
Take care of yourself out there.
Yeah, we got
All right,
this.
man. Have a good night, guys.
Later, fellas.
All right.